All right, so in the Acton Agua Dulce Unified School District, we have approximately 16 to 18% of our students designated as needing special education services. The normal range is between 8 and 10%. So in looking at this situation, the question that we had was, why are we over-designating students for services? And we had a couple of answers to that came up as we met with the special ed staff and administrators. The first one is a lack of understanding of the special education model. And from that, our action was to, as a team, was to bring you the special education manual that you also have before you. And again, this is the first read on this. It's currently in draft form, as legal is ensuring that we have the most current up-to-date laws represented in the handbook. And this handbook will be provided as a resource to parents, teachers, and administration on district protocols. This is one of those areas where we're working really hard to ensure that whether you're at Agua Dulce or Vasquez High School, the same procedures are being followed. The handbook aligns with IDA and ensures that we're correctly designating our students. The second answer that we came up with was a lack of protocol for general education interventions and student at-risk referral team processes. Currently, SACE has added to their program their IEP data and added a student success team process. So this is another area where we're able to align it. Currently, you might find different student study team procedures at every site. We're working on pulling those together, and we've been doing better at that over the years, but having SACE provide us with actual data that our teachers, our general ed teachers, our RSP teachers, our speech teachers, our administrators can see and track where our students are and where we are in the process. Any interventions that are being utilized for a student will be entered into SACE, and so those things are monitored for the students. And the answer number 3 was a lack of collaboration among special education teachers and general education teachers. And so this year we're offering release days to special education teachers in order for them to meet with the general education teachers and to discuss student goals, objectives, accommodations, and modifications that must be provided in the classroom. And again, through SACE, we're able to monitor those to make sure that the students are receiving the support and the need and having their needs met. In addition to this time that is being spent, the entire special education team is going to meet 3 times during the year to refine the program and improve upon any weaknesses in what we're offering our students. So we're hoping that providing this manual, there's a clear referral process, improved communication and collaboration, ensuring that all students that are designated as special ed are truly in need of the services and not general education intervention. There's a big difference between that, and we want to make sure that we're placing it in the correct services. And so it's our hope that in a few years we'll see a significant decline in designated students and a significant increase in general education interventions being offered. And I really would like at this time to introduce to you our SPED team. So if you guys could stand up. And I'm going to ask them to come up and introduce themselves and the part that they play in our special ed team.
I'm Misty Cervantes, and I'm a school psychologist. One of the school psychologists along with Jeff Toe.
I understand before we continue, we want you to put a face to our staff and our employees and who is doing the work and honor their work as well. So, Misty, thank you being first. I wanted to say that before you got there, but thank you again. I wanted you to see what kind of staff and what committed individuals we have doing the work. So, thank you.
I want to say I'm really excited about working with this special ed team and how thankful we are to have such a wonderful team.
Simon, would you check the mic?
Yeah,
to make sure that it's on.
Turn it on.
It should be flipped up toward you.
There you go.
There we go.
How's it working? How's it working?
There you go.
Lowell Hexum, speech language pathologist, and it's great to work here. I've been with the district. This is my 7th year, and on the manual I worked on all the referral forms as far as specific referrals to speech therapy, occupational therapy, adaptive PE, and any special ed services.
One of the things I want to make sure that you remember as we're introducing our SPED staff is that these ladies and gentlemen not only work at one site, they work at several sites. So I am going to ask that you let them know which sites you work at as well.
Okay. Mainly I come here to Meadowlark Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Tuesdays, Thursdays, I'm at High Desert Middle School, and I also go to Vasquez High School as needed.
Hello, I'm Nikki Washlake. I am the speech therapist over at Agua Dulce. I also come over here on Tuesday and Thursday to work with some of the students in Virginia Weddings class and our general ed kids here on Tuesday and Thursday. The part of the manual that I did is the collaboration part with the general ed teachers and the special ed teachers, trying to coordinate services. And I worked on the forms so that the general ed teacher knows and has in writing some information about the students that they receive in their class, so that they can work with the special ed teacher and make sure that the program is cohesive with the student that's in their class.
Hi, I'm Carolina Serrano, and I'm the adapted PE teacher at all 4 schools. And I helped with the manual. I tried to collaborate with as many special education and general ed teachers to go over some procedures that all general education teachers should follow during the IEPs.
I'm Virginia Wedding, and I work at Meadowlark. I'm the special day class teacher here in Meadowlark, and I work with all of these wonderful people, the speech and language, occupational therapist, the school psychologist, and the APE teacher to make sure my children receive the services that they need to receive. I also take care of academic testing for their annual IEPs.
My name is Jen Edick. I'm the occupational therapist for the district at all 4 schools. I actually formatted the whole first draft of the special ed handbook for our team.
Hours and hours.
I'm Andrea Freedman. I'm the special day class preschool teacher at Agua Dulce, and I'm very proud to be a part of this special education team here at Acton Agua Dulce School District.
Okay, last but not least, I'm Gayle Martin. I'm the resource specialist at Agua Dulce School. I am the special ed team member that's been with the district the longest. I started in 1990 at Acton as the special ed class teacher, and I've been at Agua Dulce since 1992, and I have had many directors of special education. And I believe the last official binder manual that we had was when Betsy Levering was our director, and I don't think anybody in here remembers who she is. So that shows how long ago that it was. But anyway, I love our special ed teachers, and I especially love my Agua Dulce team, and we are very pleased to be here tonight. Thank you.
Very impressive, very impressive.
And I would just like to say, as the Agua Dulce school principal, I can't imagine having a team better than the team that you stand and see before you. They are proactive. If they see something or they come up with a great idea, they're the first ones in the office to tell me all about it and see how we can enact it in the classrooms for our students. And they are really awesome. Thank you very much.
Thank you all guys very much for all the hard work.
This is a huge piece in pulling this all together. I'm really excited about it. Now you should be going to the parent handbook. Just keep going forward. Next one. Just go forward.
Sorry.
Okay.
This is cute presentation.
It's a new program we're
That's
doing.
awesome, I like it. If I can find it. There you
There we go. All right, so
Of course,
also,
you got me running it. That's a problem.
all right, so this evening, we are looking at two handbooks, the parent handbook and the volunteer handbook. And so I'm going to ask the administrative team to come up. Each of us have taken our handbooks as much as possible. They are very similar. There are some differences you get into the middle school and the high school, and each side is a little different. So I'm going to ask them to come and share some highlights from their handbooks. And I'm going to go ahead and start while I'm waiting for them to join me. The Agua Dulce School Parent and Student Handbook encompasses every aspect of life at Agua Dulce, from curriculum and instruction to special education services, our expectations and discipline, to parent volunteer opportunities, clubs, music and art programs. And this year in the handbook, I really worked at trying to make sure that I'm encouraging our parents to really use our website. When I first came to Agua Dulce, I remember looking at the website and there were 7,000 hits on our website. We're at 24,000 now, so I'm excited. So that was my goal, was to make sure that wherever possible I can direct our parents to our website or the district website. And also for more detailed information such as our district wellness policy, some of the other issues that we've been bringing up. So the volunteer handbook, Common Core state standards are on our website for parents to access. And we've also included the Common Core state standards in a kid-friendly format in Appendix A for each grade level for both ELA and math. Parents will have access to this through the website, through the parent handbook, as well as each grade level will be receiving a copy of the Common Core state standards at back to school night. Appendix B in the handbook outlines the district homework policy with information that details how teachers will supplement curriculum and enhance learning opportunities through research-based homework activities. The homework policy discusses the roles and responsibilities of teachers, parents, and students. And some things that will be added prior to giving it to the parents this year, we're working on putting together a year-long calendar that covers all of the events for Agua Dulce School, which include professional development for our teachers, booster club, ELAC meetings, dates, activities, district events, and things that our parents would be interested in. And the other thing that we want to include in there as we finalize some of our positions at Agua Dulce is a who's who, which will provide parents with a list of the staff, officers for Booster Club and ELAC committees as well.
Can I make a comment?
Sure.
And I recognize this is a first reading, so
It is.
make some notes and come back.
Of course.
Absolutely.
By the time we do that, then we might be behind. I just want to quickly mention that you mentioned your cover page, that there's a table of contents.
Yeah, but we're still working on that because there's things that are being added.
The first
to
thing
it.
I always look for, because you're scanning around looking for where stuff is.
And
There
you
wasn't
know,
a table of
I
contents.
was going to put that in my list, and I thought, it's the table of contents. We'll get there. But we are still working on that. Right now, I'm on 4 pages for our calendar of events, so we're still working on
This is a
pages.
first draft read.
No, that's fine. The other thing that I did I think is important for all the schools, and maybe it gets covered in the who's who, so you might have, but I'll just mention it is that as a parent, what's my process of dispute resolution, commenting, my communication mechanism? And it
There
seems like it ought
is-
to be like the first page.
Okay, and I can change that. There is a section in there where it's called When Parents Have Concerns, and it
okay.
lists who they talk to.
And maybe, the table of contents, I'd find that.
I can probably move that up to the front too.
It's just one of those welcoming
Sure.
things, I want to welcome you, and by the way, if you have any comments or concerns, here's my email and phone number, or here's my office
And
address.
that is the who's who part of it
Okay.
too.
Great, thank you.
Okay.
I will go next because Meadowlark is very similar to Agua Dulce. We shared most of our same content. I took out the part that said table of contents because we didn't have one yet. And I do have a part in there, Matt, that has, in my first letter, like when you have a concern, talk to us in the office and contact me directly. someone will be there to assist you and get you in the right direction. As far as updating this handbook, I am a very neat and tidy person, so the number one thing I did was format it, so it looks better. That's important to me. It needs just to be, it needs to flow and be formatted correctly. So that's just a small cosmetic change. There's information in there that it updated about the volunteer system and the program for volunteers and for visitors. And it's very important for school safety, how our parents come into campus and how important it is for them to sign in and be identified as a visitor on campus. So that's an update in the handbook. There's more detailed information, again, about safety for our before and after school valet program and picking up and dropping off our kids. There's a whole section in there on celebrations. One of the celebrations that I wanted to share with you tonight is something called Teacher Treasure Hunt that we're going to do this year. And that's where we're going to start looking at how fabulous our teachers are and help teachers get into other classrooms. So we'll have 2 teachers at each staff meeting. Choose another colleague. They'll arrange a time to go and observe that colleague and find out why that teacher is a treasure on our campus. Then at the following staff meeting, that teacher is going to share why she found that her colleague was a treasure. And then it's going to continue, and hopefully my hope is, I said that twice, 3 times, but they'll become comfortable in collaborating and sharing best practices. Teachers don't get a chance to see each other. And so that's something that's very new. And there are a few other celebration activities in there that are detailed. Of course, it has the personnel that you need to contact for any kind of question. Who do you go to? Why do you go to the teacher first? Or what kind of incident would require that you just come straight to the office or the district office? All the way through there, we want to put in there that we want them to use the website. We'd really like them to go to the website to download and access the Common Core curriculum. It's quite lengthy, and it would be much easier and faster for parents to access things through the website. Of course, there's notations in there of where you can get additional documents about all the other handbooks, the GATE handbook, the accountability report card, a retention policy, all of those and how you get that information. And then, like Janet said, the wellness policy, Appendix A and B, where we have the content standards and the homework policy. And our next steps really are to take your input. If we need a table of contents, we'll certainly add that. And also something that we are very proud of in the elementary level is that we are joining the upper grades, the secondary, in their Medal of Honor program. And so that is something that we need to add to our handbook, is the Medal of Honor descriptions and also which character traits going to be highlighted at each grade level. So that's Medal Art.
Good evening. The highlights for the high desert, updates, overall flow and structure, just really aligning that the goal is to kind of be consistent across the board so that as a parent transfers from Metal Art or Agua Dulce to the middle school site to the high school site, we're doing a lot of vertical teaming to align those so that the parent is not like, okay, well now what's this and what's this? So we're trying to streamline that progressive process as they move up so that parents are familiar of where to look at things in our handbook. So that's one thing. The tardy policy was another thing that I also looked at, and the purpose of that was to provide more of a positive behavior change in terms of tardy and overall the discipline policy as a whole at High Desert, in that we have behavior change through education and reinforcement and follow-up. So you'll see that in some of the things that you see in regards to our discipline policy, that the main goal is behavior change and again positive reinforcement and follow-through. In terms of, I believe our room was called an OC or something, I can't quite remember, but at any rate, changing that also to a positive place, a student responsibility center, because ultimately they're coming to me or they're coming to the office because of an irresponsible act or a poor choice. So the idea is we do something wrong, the first step isn't to jail. So I would like the kids to understand that process as well, that, you know what, you're going to make mistakes, you're going to mess up. We're here to support you and help you not continue to make those mistakes, which is what we do in life. So I've changed that to the Student Responsibility Center, and we'll use that for in-school suspensions, out-of-school, out-of-class suspensions, brunch and lunch detentions, things like that. Additions that we've had, like the other ones, the wellness policy directed them to the website. Our district homework policy is in the appendix. We had 10 rules for our district, and for our school site, and I basically took those same things and condensed them down to 5, for the reason being, if I have a conversation with a student out on campus at any point in time, the likeliness of them remembering 5 rules and being able to focus on those is a lot better retention than what was rule number 9 or 10, when really they're kind of redundant. So I did streamline that, but stayed with the tradition of high desert expectations.
Where do you list those, when you say rule, where?
They are in under student responsibilities or in the table of contents.
These are behavioral rules or?
Yeah. And the table of contents will be coming.
I'll just look at the table of contents.
Yeah, look at the table of contents, that's not there. Okay.
Ideally, these wouldn't be page numbered, maybe even harder.
Yeah.
Oh, there's one that's not page numbered.
I don't know, maybe
Metal art.
it's on
Those table of
page.
contents had no page number.
That makes it really easy to find things.
That's all right, I understand.
We wanted to leave something out,
Good.
just to see.
You gotta give us something.
Got to give you something to look for. We also have included the content standards and student-friendly language for 6, 7, and 8. The Medal of Honor information, I attended the Medal of Honor presentation in August, and I'm very huge proponent of character development. It really aligns and supports our discipline policy and making positive behavior changes. So we're definitely making that I'm going to work with Marilyn to make that a bigger addition in terms of explaining that to parents. Academic integrity piece I did add in there as well, especially in a technological age, and that's where we're going. Students may not understand what plagiarism is or what certain things are actually cheating. And our ultimate goal is to get our students to college, and these are going to benefit, this knowledge is going to benefit them in that as well. So that is strictly laid out, so it's not a surprise to parents should they get a phone call in terms of something or poor choice that a student has made in terms of integrity and their education. The other piece I added in there was terms of suspension and expulsions from a school based on California law, so that is outlined for them as well. Things to be included, table of contents, of course. I knew that things would change, so with all due respect, it being a draft, I was going to spend my time more on the content of it than the organization of that, but that will be in there. Big proponent of school spirit, including our logo on there, making sure that we show our pride on the front of that cover. Again, the full description of Medal of Honor. Next steps that may or may not be included this year, but in work with district leadership and the site principals as well, is developing curricular summaries. I didn't notice in previous handbooks for High Desert, but in, for example, Vasquez, they do highlight kind of a summary of what they'll be experiencing in English and science from teacher perspective, so I do want to add that. I'd like to add the Common Core standards, and then also work with district leadership and the site principals to take a look at our bell schedule, meaning not changing the start and end times, but working a little bit with the times within the day to support Common Core as well, but also support daily reading, of which are 7th and 8th grade language arts. They have novels that they read, so providing that daily structured reading time for them. Also a place to put in Medal of Honor and character development, of which is definitely something that we believe in, and kind of offer that daily 10-minute period. Also, if there are things that I need to address to the school as a whole, it offers that opportunity for me to do that. So that right now is our handbook.
I think it's really great how you have all the different classes and what they're supposed to learn in each class.
That's in the back of each of those handbooks.
Yeah.
Something
That's new. Remember, that's something that
Oh,
we
yeah,
started
that-
in
and
the
I
spring
think
as
that's
well
really
as the
cool.
homework policy.
I'm glad to see. Now, how did those come, do these come out of a different book somewhere where this content
The
comes from?
Common Core.
Are these Common Core listings for each of these
For the
sections?
elementary school, you have Common Core listings,
Yeah.
and the state has actually provided on their website a list of the Common Core standards for each grade level in terms that the kids understand. So we took it from there and included it on our websites and in our handbooks.
I think it'll be interesting to see how that maps again to what's happening in the classroom.
That's a good one.
And how, what happens in the interaction between the teachers, the handbook, and the classroom.
Absolutely.
To the degree that the parents pick up the handbook and go in and say, it doesn't say anything about algebra 2 in third grade, why are we doing that? Or whatever, I'm making that up.
Disappointed. I imagine something a lot grander, more unified graphically, and I think there are a lot of areas that could be added in here that aren't. With that said, I appreciate you noticing the addition of a lot of contact information in the front, and that reflects a lot of the board's wishes over the last year. You'll notice that on the early pages, page 6 with the mission and vision, those are updated, and the SLOs replaced the ESLers. Those came out of about 4 or 5 months of staff work through the winter of this last year, and those reflect our final draft of our goals for students upon graduation. I don't think you've seen those yet, so that'll be good for you guys to take a look at. You're right about the communication piece. On page 9 in the bottom half, communication with the school continues in the back of 10, and that's on the opposite of the contact information for teachers with email. And there's also on the bottom half of the first paragraph on communication with school on page 9, you'll notice a line. I don't think it's as obvious as maybe you were looking for, Matt, but there's a line of starting with the teacher and then going through counseling and then administration and then to the director of student services maybe. So that's indicated as well. Rights and responsibilities, uniform complaint procedures are similar to previous years. General information, you have some different pieces. The wellness policy is on the bottom third of page 12, as well as a link to the website for more information. The language there taken right off the wellness policy that the board adopted. A lot of links updated, PTSO and those different pieces, updated with policies that we changed over the last year. Nothing critical on a district level, just local positions that the staff decided on. You'll notice on page 14, updated map, the gym's gone. You'll notice probably the most extensive calendar that the site's seen in its existence on page 15. That calendar's been through a lot of iterations. It has a great amount of detail, obviously based on the district approved calendar that you guys approved a few months ago, but we've worked on that through the summer. You've got every single testing date on there, ASB activities, graduation, rallies, earthquake, blood drives. We booked everything over the summer. It's all reflected. Parents will get this before the first day of school. Bell schedule on 16. Continued information on how to handle attendance and tardy policies, and we streamlined that over the last year, and that's all reflected on 17 and over to 18. Same with behavior over to 19, 18 and 19, Saturday school. What Mark was referring to is something I inherited, which is eliminating maximums and making them minimums. That starts on 20 and goes all the way through 24. And you'll notice some, like for example, on 22, third from the top, hate, violence, harassment, the minimum is 5-day off-campus suspension, sheriff, and recommendation for expulsion. That reflects the board policy from the past that he had mentioned.
I think your format here is consistent with our historical format, which the other schools might want to look at.
Well, we've talked about a consistent format, obviously, just obviously didn't happen. So we need to kind of take a look at that and make sure that the format might take a look at ties and then.
Well, I love what the middle school has.
Absolutely.
It's just the formatting aspect of it.
I've been taking notes of all your comments.
Electronic device policy has been updated. There were things in the past one like, CD players, Walkmans, things like tape players, cassette players. So those things have been updated for the modern age. 25 dress code, streamlined with what we enforce on campus. Academic expectations are similar to what the board approved, geography and health still being in there for 230 credits. Our brand new district 4-year plan is reflected and available on page 27, and that's what we use for every single student. We do one-on-one at the beginning of the year for registration. That's there for parents to see. 28, additional expansion for Common Core, some links in curriculum and content standards, and our philosophy on master schedule design is all there for you. The homework policy starts about 2/3 of the way down on 29 and continues over to 30. We don't have the recommended hours, although I remember the policy we agreed on did have tiered recommended hour bands based on grade level. I believe the high school one was 90 to 180 minutes was the band that we had decided on based on research. But as Dr. Woodard said, it's up to us to take a look at that and make sure we're consistent across the board. We'll do that. We used to use end grade. That's been updated now to reflect areas in the middle of 29, along with a link directly for parents to be able to log on and sign in. I also added just an isolated line for parents and students new to the district, step-by-step instructions for creating an account are available in the main office. We have printed out instructions for those that need it. Remember, we're inheriting, at this point, new students. Most of them come from my desert. They're already familiar with using Aries. So we're still going to offer training during registration and sheets for those that are new to the school. I don't want to belabor it too much, and go over everything. You'll see it as you read, but 30 and 31, all the college, NCAA, UC, and CSU admission indexes have been updated. I spent a lot of time going through and making sure that's accurate for the current year, as well as the links, Division I, Division II, 16 core course rule. There's a lot of specific rules, GPA minimums, ACT recommended minimums, and ways that you qualify. That's all reflected. 36 and 37, all the SAT and ACT dates are correct for the current year, as well as the PSAT administration date at Vasquez of October 19th. All of those are reflected in the handbook and also mirrored on the calendar as well. Athletic CIF changes, Desert Mountain League adjustments are all also reflected, starting on 38 and weaving a few pages in. CIF Code of Ethics, age requirement. There were some changes over last year. Those are all woven in as well. Student life and annual activities also received an upgrade as I passed through those and changed the titles to reflect what we do and try to summarize as many things as I could and keep it condensed but accurate. With all that said, I welcome your comments. I really believe that largely this document, I know it's very informative, but I would characterize it as a neutral to punitive tone. In other words, it's a lot of if you, I'm going to. And I'd rather see something that has a nice blend of positives. I'd like to see some excitement under campus life. I'd like to see pictures of students in here, culture and student life, so that it has a balance. I think there can be a lot done with curriculum and academic integrity. That the curriculum piece needs to be elevated. I think we can do more with empowering parents to be good caretakers and the other half of that system of raising the child. The website, which Caesar and I have been working on incredibly for weeks, will launch in a matter of weeks. It is extensive. It has links for every course. My expectation is that every teacher's syllabus will be linked right off of their staff name for every course that they teach, as well as links to Common Core standards in that subject area. The idea is that, particularly a year from now, when Common Core is active, that a parent who has a question about an assignment in, let's say, English 9, as just an example, can go right to that class, click on the teacher's syllabus, and right next to it, click on the Common Core English standards and compare the two. And then the email link is right there by the teacher's name. They can click on that and immediately email the teacher with an informed question. So the idea of it, and that's not, Handbook, yeah, that'll reflect that as we go, and they work hand in hand, but it's the website that I'm really driven by as well, and that's going to be a key piece. So, any questions?
Just a comment, Ty. For whatever it's worth, I've been on the UC college tour this summer.
Okay.
Spending a lot of gas and wear and tear on the tires. All of the UC admission counselors are giving me the blank stare when it comes to UC guaranteed admission.
For top 9%?
And telling me it doesn't exist.
Not anymore, or that it's a myth?
That it doesn't exist anymore.
Okay, I appreciate it. I'll look into it again.
I'm still questioning each one that I see, and I've got one more to go to next week.
You know that it says it on UCOP. Like you go to the website and it says it right there.
And when I question the actual live breathing counselor, they give me some acronym that said under a certain thing it might apply, but that quote unquote generally there is no guaranteed UC
Okay.
admissions
Because they're,
any longer.
What does the guarantee say basically?
the top 9%, there's two ways to qualify. If you're the top 9% of your class, there's like local eligibility and there's a global eligibility, state eligibility. One or the other, you're automatically admitted to one UC campus. You're not guaranteed which, but you're definitely admitted into a
And
UC
the
campus.
UC Santa Barbara admissions counselor said that the top 9% is no more.
Okay.
That one is out.
So we need to get, well, their website reflects something different. We need to get the truth.
Who knows?
Yeah.
I explain that to them, and I get these blank stares, but there's, this is a person who actually is engaged in reviewing apps.
Right.
That's saying.
No, huh? Okay.
So what
I
kind of
update
guarantee
their
is-
website then.
Yeah.
What kind of guarantee?
I just
is there?
confirmed it
Yeah.
a few days
You and
ago
I
to
talked
make
about
sure.
it.
Yeah,
The
so
global guarantee might still, I don't know, the other one, what did you say it was?
there's a local entitlement or a piece. It's called, it's LEQ
Something.
or is that one, then there's a state qualification that I think has to do with ACT and testing.
And she indicated that if you're, it doesn't matter if you're in the top 9%.
Locally.
Doesn't, locally.
Locally, so
Doesn't
it's the
matter.
state only. Maybe that's it. Maybe
So,
that's-
I don't know.
probably maybe inflated grades or something. But thank you for letting me know. I'll look into that.
It's just something to look at.
I have a contact at UCLA, so for admission, so I'll look into it.
Well, I just want to compliment you.
Very
Look,
good.
I know that this is a lot of work, and it competes with all the other work that everybody is doing. I mean, I think as we move forward, part of that feeling of, how you feel about a parent and your student entering into the school is, am I being handed the rule book, as a big, thick mimeographed rule
Yeah.
book, or am I being handed my welcome package?
Right.
Which is it?
Right.
And that speaks a little bit maybe to the tone, but it also speaks to the format, what the cover looks like, and how easy it is to find stuff. And I think you've come a long way towards making me feel like, welcome to our school. Here's something that, here's some resources, and here's some activities, and
I concur that the work that's been done holistically from all of you is at a higher level in terms of its formatting and the information in there than I have seen in a very long time. So you're on their way there. I mean, we're kibitzing with you over certain things, but if you're looking at it overall, it's much improved. And we're certainly headed in a well down the path of being in the right direction.
Thank you.
thank you all.
Thank you.
Yeah, even little things like that aerial you have in there with the classes, all of that, very nice job. All of you, thank you.
So I'd like to thank you all for your input on this as we go ahead and make these changes, and I hope you enjoyed our Parent-Student Handbook treasure hunt.